this thing on? I think. Is it? The thingy's doing the little lights are doing the thingy up and down, and that thing's doing the thing. Okay, it's on. Hey everybody, my name is Derek and I am the owner, creator, and head silicone slinger here at Novelty, where we make silicone toys. What's the next line? For adults. Yeah, that's it. Okay. Hey everybody, we've got Max from Dilgo Toys tonight. If you were around for the Shop Dad Design Challenge from a couple of weeks ago, this was one of those designs that everybody just loved. And I'm really excited to have Max on tonight to where we can actually dive into this one, and we can... The thing is, I've gotten to talk to Max a couple of times over the last week, and there are a few things that just jumped out. And you know, you meet these people and you get to know them, and there are some folks who just have, it's almost like a vision, and it's almost like there's this entire story arc that comes across. And with Max, that was something that struck me, was that there was this entire arc that just came across in all of his work, and that there was always a thread that was going through, and it was just a pleasure to watch and to get to know him and to get to know the work that he's been doing. And so I want to spend some time talking about that. But of course, we got to talk about the unidentified fucking object, and also about what might be coming up. So, because I think there might be some news from Max coming out in the next moment or so. I'm going to mention a couple of things because we got to do a little housekeeping. Number one, did you notice that I had to split the number of the patrons? I had to split that into 2 columns. I have some wonderful patrons. It has been awesome. There has been so much support. I want to say thank you to every single one of you. And it has been wonderful. You can support us, patreon.com/Amavidi, AMAVIDI. Or you can go to amavidi.com, AMAVIDI.com, or amavidi.etsy.com. Or if you want to learn about how to make toys, I have imakesextoys.com. I've got all kinds of things going on. So those are all the ways that you can support us. If you just want to learn how to do what we do, you can watch the videos on YouTube, because you're on the YouTubes now, and well, they're just like a little click away. But don't do that yet. You got to watch this. But I make sex toys also. imakesextoys.com also has information. So, and George is wonderfully handling the chat. She's got the link tree in there, which is a great place where you can get all of the links. Now, without further ado, I'm going to try to click the thing that makes the thing happen with me and Max and see if this works. Max, how you doing?
Hey. Oh, thanks for having me. That was way too nice of an intro, but thank you.
No, but it's true.
Hi, everybody on the chat.
Yes. No, but it's true. It was something that just kind of came through in our conversations, and it was something that struck me. And there are very few people that I've met where that is something that I could kind of grab onto and say, this is something that, that having that thread through everything that they've done.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna be like the Marvel Cinematic Universe of the dildos. We have a plan. Phase 1 is just we're just starting. You'll see, it's gonna get nuts.
Yeah. Well, why don't you take a second and kind of give us a little bit of your background and tell us a little bit about you, and then we'll kind of get into what Dilgo is, how it started, and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So I was a game artist for about 15 years, and I've been doing that since about 2007. I've always been super into 3D printing. Actually, like my very first 3D print was like in 2008 or something. Like when
Oh,
like
wow.
almost like nobody had like a resin printer. I wanted to try and get like a physical copy of a character that I made. So I just like really started to get like super into that. And just like the passion like grew and be like, oh, I can actually make like physical object of my characters and all that kind of stuff. So like I did that, and then I get like super into it. I saw like the like statue collectibles industry was moving in that direction as well. So I was like, I could do that. So I did like a few gigs of like freelancing like statues that get like printed and like stuff. And yeah, so after like all those years of like sculpting kind of like as a professional like artist, I get like pretty burned out by just like the overtime and all those like kind of stuff now like come with like working like the game. So I was like, I need to find something like fun. And what do you do when you like learn like a new app or something? Like you just sculpt a dick. And I was like just trying to like bring like the sense of humor and like all the like my backgrounds in like like video editing and animation and all that, and just like merge everything into just like one big thing. And I'll be like, and that's how Dilgo came to light, like pretty much just like try to make something a bit different, like, and have fun while doing it.
Yeah. Now I want to go back because you said your first printers were like 2008, I think you said.
Yeah, like 2008 is the first time I got like something printed. That was using like Ownage. They're like one of like the first company that were kind of like doing that kind of stuff with like resin printer. And yeah, that was kind of like mind blowing, like the quality that you could get. But my first personal printer, I don't remember exactly when it was, but that was kind of like a DIY one that you had to build using like a video projector, and I mean, it worked great. The quality was pretty much on par with like what you can find today, but just the setup was horrible. So like
the old DLP.
Yep, I just improved like little by little, and I get like a behemoth of like a 3D printer that like I don't want to have to deal with any issues, and just be like, bam, print done.
Yeah. I remember when I was looking at 3D printers, and the old DLP style, and there was a whole rabbit hole you could go into of kind of build your own. And I made a few missteps when I first started. I went down a certain path, and I almost went the build your own route. I ended up kind of veering off, and I went resin for my first printer. I went with resin for my first printer, which was probably a mistake. I wouldn't recommend it for most people. They are.
Yeah, I mean it's much more tricky to just like get ahead of it. There's like so much could go wrong.
Yeah, I had about 75% of my prints failed on that first printer, and almost turned me off to printers completely. But I went back. I went to FDM for a little while, and then I went back to resin after I kind of figured out all the things. But now to be printing from that far back. But then, you and I have talked a little bit about, hardware and the things that we use today. And, the printing technology has gotten so much better since then.
Oh yeah. Like it's like completely night and day, like just like the apps and like everything. Like, for example, I'm using like ZBrush to like sculpt everything. And now they have like, tools that are like specifically targeted to 3D printing with like all the booleans and stuff. Like it used to be like horrible just to make like something hollowed or like keying and stuff. Like it was taking hours, when now it's just like 2 clicks and like you're good to go. So much easier.
Yeah. So then one day you said, well, I'm just going to sculpt a dick.
I mean, that's pretty much every day.
So then Dilgo was born.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like seeing like, what was out there into like the toy industry, and like where like what I knew about like the toys, and just be like, it's more like, like the collectibles where like everything is kind of like numbered and like, really well crafted and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, I feel like it's kind of like missing in that like in that genre of like toys. Is like, like people like collecting, like I could see online, like yeah, people like sharing and just like going for drops like crazy and stuff. But I didn't feel that there was like really like the same thought process as like the collectible industry for like statues and like those like marbles or whatever. So that's kind of like that approach that I wanted to like bring into Dilgo, and that's why we do like only kind of like one size for like each models, and like the design edition are like numbered and they're like really specific of like the look and like everything. I just try to control as much as possible and get like like a whole sense of like brand and like that's like cohesive like in the long run. So it's a bit different, but I don't know, that's kind of what I'm trying to like show and like do.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up some pictures here in a minute to talk about kind of the brand cohesiveness. But you mentioned a couple things. So are the toys actually numbered?
So yeah, like every designer edition, like when they're like shipped, like we write down on the box like the number of like like this one, and I put like a special sticker on the box as well. So like if you want to collect like the box and say, oh, I got like the number one Dilgo of like this character or whatever, like you have it. Like I'm pretty sure that 99% of people don't really care about it, but like to me it's just that like little extra step that like I want to like bring, just like that little something special.
Yeah. Now let's see if I can do this. Let's see, it's that button, and then it is this one. This is one of the things that really impressed me was the packaging and just how cohesive it is. You've got 3 different products here, but the style of it all is very cohesive, and there was a plan here.
Oh yeah, like totally. It's just like we've tried to find like something that would like work for like pretty much everything, and just be like like something like fun and just like just like bring like the fun. So like the ham is kind of like what makes like the link between all the like different brands, and just be like that cute little thing that can be like a little bit spooky, or like like for like the pop is kind of like a Superman, but like every like something on like the box of like the pop there, like everything that's like drawn on it was either done by myself or by Mrs. Dilgo, which takes care of like pretty much like all the cutie stuff. So like we just collaborate like a lot of like the design, and she sculpted like ham and like stuff like that. So it's really like a teamwork just to get like a cohesive brand. But I mean, it does help that like I worked with like an industry with like probably some of like the best concept artists like in the world. So you just like you get inspired by like all that, and you figure stuff out like along the way, and it's just like like kind of like experience of like what you want to like bring and like carry through like your brand, and like so
you mentioned being inspired by some of the best concept artists. Is there somebody who inspires you? Do you take inspiration from anybody in particular, or any styles in particular?
I don't know like in particular, but it's just like like everybody that I worked with, or that like I like have like art books and like everything. It's just like a collective kind of like mind that just like goes into like like my thought process. I always try to like find like something new to like research or like get interested. Like right now, like I found those like Japanese like sculptors that are like insane. And so those are like the kind of art books that I just like keep buying, because they do stuff like so differently than like in the West. And like like all the conventions that I've been to, everything kind of like looks the same like around here. But there's just like a super crazy different mindset. And I don't know, like back in 2010, like Eastern European artists, like they were like you could tell when you saw like a model that was done by like one of those guys, you're like, that's kind of like that's cool. So like there's always like something to like grab on and like get inspired to. So like I could not say like anything like specifically. It's just like a huge like data bank of like everything that I've been like immersed into, just like painting and drawings and photography and like
well, let's talk about the design challenge. And I remember one of the things that Shop Dad said was how you came out of nowhere, and now that we're talking, it sounds like maybe you didn't necessarily come out of nowhere, but the design. I'm going to pull it up here in just a minute. The design seems to have come out of nowhere, but you brought something to the challenge.
Yeah, I tried. I mean, I was not gonna join. It's actually like Gem Finder. She's on the chat right now. So hey, she was like, hey, like there's like Shop Dad, like he's like doing like a contest, like you should join. And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like super busy right now. I'm like, I'm probably not gonna have the time like to do anything. But then after a while, I just saw that like people getting more involved, and I was like, oh, you know what, that could be fun. But the reason I didn't want to join at first, like I never like half-ass anything. So I knew that like if I joined, I had to just like go crazy and like do something a bit nuts just to like show what like Dilgo was about, and like like doing something a little bit different and like see what we can bring to the table, just like in like the split of colors and like stuff like that. So that's kind of like a crazy ride. And at the same time, I was like really grateful because like I am really bad with like social media, and I really cannot handle just like, I'm like not on like anything like, like Facebook or like Twitter, like personally. So just like, I feel sorry. And like, I apologize to all the shops that are like following us and interacting, because I'm like super bad at that. And I'm just kind of like in my bubble, just like doing my thing, not really looking at like anything else. So like, that was like a good way of just like being a little bit more involved into the community and all that.
Now, I think this is where you kind of just started, right? This was kind of a concept sketch.
Yeah. I'll just be like, I don't know, like, let's try to like do something. Like my first idea was to make like a plant-based like toys, but I feel that that's kind of like an easy go around that like, like we can see like here and there. And so I was like, I'm not sure if like that's like the best. So like try to find something bonkers, and actually have like on the Dilgo pop box like a flying saucer, and like the cows like getting beamed up. And I was like, oh, but with like the rays, and we can have that like in like the base, like we can do something. So it started like there, just that like crazy idea of having like just that cone just like lifting up something. I'll be like, we'll see. I'll make something out of that.
Now, over here, because I'm looking, there was something, I remember, there was a comment like, Miss Dilgo, it's just a work in progress. Don't be extra. And then there was then there was a video of, cows being beamed up.
Because, I finished like the sculpt and like everything of like the inclusion. And I'm like, how can I just like show it up instead of just like making like just like a screenshot? I'm like, okay, I'm still gonna make like a video out of it. So that's why I said it's like when I do something, I just like try to go all out and always like be a little extra, even if that takes like much more time. But that's part of like, I guess like the brand, and just like being cohesive with like everything.
Oh, jeez, because I'm over here. I love all of this. I mean, yes, you came into it with an idea, but you just went for it, and I mean, you went 110%. I mean, the words that come to mind: balls to the wall.
I mean always like.
And then we've got this one. So where are we at this point?
So at this point, I kind of like figure out like the flow of like the toy that I want to have, and like the clouds, like something like a bit like wispy, but like I think that gave like kind of like a sense of like direction. I sculpted like the little cows as well at this point. Like we did like a couple of like polls to like figure out like what people wanted, and actually I did not want to sculpt that one because I didn't like it, but everybody like grasped onto it, and it was like, oh, we want like the cute cows. Like, damn it, I gotta make like another one. So I got like 4 sets of inclusions that I made. And so at this point I just did not figure out yet like the design of like the flying saucers. But yeah, that was kind of like the general idea was like there would just be like those clouds, like the direction and like the flow of like the beam, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then we've also got, let's see if I can, over here, we've got a new flying saucer that's coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like we're still kind of working on the concept for what the flying saucer is going to look like.
Yeah, so like the idea like there was just I want to have like a tiny flying saucer kind of like in the background, so you feel like there's like depth to the toy, even if it's just like, you know, like there's no like real distance or anything. But if I put like a small one there with like the cows that go from like bigger to teeny tiny being beamed up, like you get that like perspective kind of like forced trickery of like, you know, like distance and like stuff like that. So I thought it was interesting to just like play with this. So it'll be like a nice, just like, even if you don't want to use it, you put it on your shelf, it's still gonna be like a cool looking toy.
Yeah. Let's see here, because we've got some more shots here. Oops, hit the wrong button there. And I mean, the cows are just so cute, man.
Well, thanks. That's all credits to like Miss Dilgo. Like I just sculpted them, but yeah, she came up with like the general idea of like, and like the flow of like making them looking like that.
Mm-hmm.
I want like mine are like the stupid looking ones, so
let's see.
Those ones.
Yeah. Okay. The ones that look a little bit more shocked.
Just a little bit.
A little bit more surprised.
They've been through stuff. Or they're gonna be.
Now, what have we got going on here? Where are the dog toys in the...
So the dog treats is because I collaborated with Lana B, and like we've been working together together. Like that's the first time I saw his like Twitter, and I was like, they do like funny content and like stuff like that. Like, what if like I send them like a toy? And he actually made like, without me asking anything, they made like the best like Dilgo, like the thingy review. That was like awesome because it was like super fun, like intro that's like horror movie style, and like, yeah, without me asking or like doing anything, they just made that like amazing little video. So like since then I've been just be like, okay, like he gets like what we're trying to do, so let's see if we can like work more together. And so when the contest like came to light, I was be like, hey, you want to like collaborate on like something again? And he was like, yeah, sure. And so we came up with like that idea, and like he wants to have like dog treats being like beamed up, so I recreated like his logo and I think like his name on like little dog treats and stuff. So I'm gonna make them as like, you know, bigger squishies to like send him as like a thank you, right, along with like the toy and stuff. Well,
because as I'm looking in here, I just noticed that we've got the dog treats in getting beamed up. Oh my god. Yep. Okay, I missed that.
I mean, you never know what aliens want to abduct, so like, you know, yeah, want to get some snacks. It's a long ride.
Now you mentioned Lana B, but this is somebody you collaborated with. Mm-hmm. Now, as I understand it, they are an SW?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And do you want to talk about that at all, or?
Yeah, sure. I mean, like.
Okay. I don't want to get, if there's an area here that we won't want to get into, I don't want to push, but you said they collaborated with you on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just like, I was asking, like, hey, are you interested in like, like making like a toy? And whoop, on your side or my side?
Are you still there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear.
Oh, they can hear you. I just can't because I think my headphones just dropped.
I know.
You can keep going. I will reset my headphones.
Okay. No, I mean, yeah, it was just like we collaborated like before on like the thingy when he made like an awesome like little video, like I said, and like as well on like a Spider-Man like dildo that I made. So like we were talking about like more project that could come like down the line, like like what I could like bring to like SW workers, because I feel there's like a lot that's like kind of like missing. Like we went to the AVN like early January, and we're kind of like just to like see, you know, like the convention and like if that was worth like having like a booth there. And I'm like, yeah, like not for the price, because it was like not what I expected. But what shocked me was like how little like they had of like stuff to sell or just like promote themselves. That it was just like photos that they were signing or just like pennies or like, you know, stuff like that. And I'm like, there was no actual like toys or like little trinkets or like stuff like that. So that's something that I would like to like work with like, yeah, like SW workers and like make something special, like really targeted to them, and like that I don't think like anybody has seen like yet. So that could be really cool, and that's coming like, you know, like down the line, but like I don't know when exactly, but hopefully, yeah, I can like start something that could get like bigger. So it should be fun. Yeah,
that'd be interesting. You know, I've had it in my head that at some point I'd like to go to like AVN or something like that and kind of just see, you know, what that is like. But the fact that, you know, they don't have anything like what you're doing there would be interesting.
Yeah, and like they even had like, you know, like a professional kind of like toy industry like booth and like everything. But even that was like really bad quality. Like, not gonna lie, like I went to like a booth, I grabbed like one of the toys and I did this and I peeled the paint out of them. I'm like, yeah, what kind of like cheap like whatever toys are you guys like making or trying to sell? Like this awful. Like we're just like a tiny ass company in our like garage and we make better toys than that. So it's like, that's crazy.
Yeah. I don't know if you can hear George laughing in the background. I'm also kind of looking at the chat. Yosh is over there in the chat. Just because the ham in the background of your image, it looks like it's reaching around and eating your microphone.
It is.
Yeah. No, it was great that part of the design challenge was the collaborative part and being able to work with people that are outside of our industry and being able to bring those folks in and being able to get other perspectives and having them have input, because we can get a little bit insular and we can get kind of into our little community, and having those outside perspectives can be awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, like the reach that they have is like completely different, and just like, you know, like the people that they work with is like different than like our like customer base or like stuff like. So it's like really interesting just to see those like two worlds collide. And I mean, that was kind of reminded me of like, you know, like again, like game development of like we make the games, but like the streamers and like stuff, they actually play it. So it's like, you know, we like work in collaboration, even if you don't really like know it, like for sure. It's just like, yeah, like one would need the other like to exist. So, and if you can make like, yeah, like fun toys that they can just like enjoy and everything, it's like even better because like it's different.
Yeah. So here we are. It looks like this is a little bit more developed render.
Yeah, I think that was like the final kind of like render, and like sculpt was like, okay, I'm like done.
And then the backside of that. And I think this was probably about the point where Shop Dad may have started having some questions.
Yep. And I knew it. So I was like, because again, working for like 15 years as a production artist, like I know when people are gonna like question things, or when you like try to do something specifically that, you know, they yeah, like sometimes like, you know, when I work, I leave something shitty in my like work just so it can get criticized, but I know I can like fix it real quick. So it's like, hey, there was no big deal, you had your say, and everybody's happy. So I was like, yeah, I'm like, I know like people like they're not like kind of like used to either like the type of printer that like I may be using or like stuff like that. So yeah, that was like, that might be challenging to do that kind of like stuff. But not if I know what I'm doing. So I was like, I'm gonna show how I thought about like doing it. And this model actually is probably like the one that I fought like the most to make it like workable. Because usually I'm just like extremely like brute force, and I'm like, I'm gonna make it work like no matter what. And that bite me in the ass like a couple of times, but I still managed to like do it. But this one I was like, I'm gonna start from the beginning of just like cutting and like know where to like place my stuff just to make my life like so much easier.
Yeah. Now you mentioned leaving a mistake in there on purpose. In one of my past careers, I did auditing, and I always loved it when people had something that was easy for me to find, because, then I could go, hey, I found something. The ones that did everything very, very well made it very difficult for me to do my job, because if I couldn't find anything, then I couldn't prove that I did my job. And so, those were the annoying ones, and I had to keep digging, and they didn't like it when I had to keep digging. So, but then you popped up with this one. And as Shop Dad said, this was the Uno reverse card.
Yeah, I was so happy when you just said that. I was like, he gets it. Like, I was like, yes.
Yeah. And I can see it. The angles work. Now, I can tell you and I talked about this a little bit, and we talked about a few other things in some of our pre-show conversations. And but yeah, it works. I mean, I can see how you're going to do it, but
it's just going to be
there's a lot of work
pain in the
this.
ass, like sometimes, but like, yeah, I mean, like pretty much every designer edition that I make, like they do take like a long time just to like finesse and like being able to get like stuff done like as clean as possible. So yeah, like they're not like easy pours or like by any mean, but that's kind of like, when I'm thriving. And just like, I personally, I don't really like all the like swirly stuff and like whatever. It's just like not my thing, just based on like, what I used to do in the past. So like, in a sense, I'm like really like rigid of like, this is my design, it should look like this, like specifically and stuff. So that's what I'm like thriving for. And so yeah, it's not gonna be easy to make, but it's doable. And I made like some like crazier one, I think, that I managed to like pull them off. So like that one I think should be fairly okay. Even if it's near clear, and I hate near clear, but like that's like an whole other subject.
Yeah. Well, a lot of us have talked about near clear and some of the problems that it has, but yeah. I want to show this picture just because I think everybody's going to enjoy it. There's just so much cuteness here.
I mean, you should have stopped at so much. Like, we were not ready. Like, that con was just like, we had like a tiny little booth with one table and like a million stuff to like bring. So
now I think this is your first con, right?
Yeah, that was like the Golden State Fur Con, like in Los Angeles, like a few weeks ago. So yeah, that was like right in the middle of like Shop Dad's contest. So I was like, that's one of the reasons I was like, I'm not sure I'm gonna join, because I got that to prep and like the contest to like do, and obviously you have to like make everything like crazy. So
and there's the spooky ham. There's the spooky ham up there at the top.
Yeah.
Oh, all of them, all the skeletons and everything. Okay. Oh, and then nomming on the, yep. Sorry.
But yeah, so that was really funny, because like when we got to the con, there was like another booth that was like in front of us, and they all like, what the fuck? Like, that's our first con, and they all like had like, we had like a lot of like display, like even on like another photo that I had, we have like the video in the background with all the like commercials and like stuff. So it looks like much more involved, that like, just one dude and like his girlfriend just like doing stuff in like the garage, like pretty much. So that was really fun.
Yeah.
But the con was amazing.
Oh yeah. And you said it was your first one. What did you think about it? How did that play out for you?
Yeah, I mean, I was just not sure about anything at first because I was like, the toys that we're making are not like fantasy based, which is like mostly what like people in like the fur community are like interested into. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna go there and like maybe sell like one toy or like something. And actually, no, like we just like sold like a lot for like what I thought, but the con yeah was gonna be. Sorry. Um, but yeah, and like what was really interesting as well is that we sold like stuff completely differently than what we sell online. Like
Mhm.
the much smaller model like sold out when they're not like super popular on Etsy. When like on Etsy it's like mostly like the bigger stuff. But yeah, like we sold out on like the smaller stuff. And just like the con was just like amazing because like we were kind of like the fun, easy, approachable booth. Even if there was like
Okay.
like a sex toys related, we had people that you could tell like that was kind of like either like the first time in like an 18 plus like area, or like they were not like really confident or like sure about themselves, but just because Dilgo is so like kind of like fun, and you just like look at the toys and they're just like they don't really look like mean sex toys kind of in a way. It's just be
Mhm.
like just like fun little things, and oh, there's a gingerbread man, so like people were coming like and like talk really easily and be like really, yeah, just like friendly and like open to like everything and just like checking stuff out. And like so yeah, like that's something I didn't think of it at first, but just like that was like super cool to just like see those people coming out of the shells and just like approach a booth like that and just like maybe bought their like first like sex toys like ever. So it was like
Mhm.
really interesting.
Yeah. You mentioned the gingerbread man, so I had to pull that one up.
Yeah, this guy's
Um,
like one of my favorites.
and there are details in here that, like, the what looks like a bow tie on this guy is actually your logo.
Yeah, I try to always put like the logo like somewhere as like like a detail that can like pop or like either like color wise or like yeah just like integrated in the design. So
Yeah. Um, Now then, I wanted to, let's see if I hit that button there. Um, I'm going to jump around just a little bit because there are a couple things I wanted to kind of get to. Um,
actually, I also
oh,
have
yeah, yeah. Oh, is this the 3D print?
yep.
Ah,
It's there's like fresh from the printer. I didn't any like post process yet or anything. I even added like the logo that I kind of forgot like in the renders.
yeah,
But yeah, so it's pretty much there.
awesome. Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, it's there,
yeah.
so it's
Sometimes
gonna
hard
be
to
there
get.
soon.
Yeah, and I can see the way that you've got the tractor beam kind of
Mhm.
settled into the clouds. I can see how that's going to work as far as pouring now. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I won't have like any problem having like that like delimitation between like kind of like the shaft and like the clouds, and like at the bottom like and just like swirl like a little bit of like the cloud in it, so it's gonna look like it's getting like beamed up as well. So I think it's gonna look like pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, Now, there are, let's see if I can do this. Like I said, I'm going to jump around a bit because there are some fun things in here. Like, we've obviously got a Spider Man theme going on here, which I think is hilarious. And,
We have one like that.
but then we've got also this one, which is, it's still that same kind of Spider Man theme, but it's a lot more fun and approachable. But then also, I kind of want to zoom in here, and actually, maybe easier to see on this one because of the contrast. But there is a ton of detail in here.
Yeah, just like in a lot of our toys, like it's just yeah like the printer that I got like is like top of the line, so I don't really have to like sand that much. And like the only thing that I need to sand is just like tiny supports like here and there, so I can just like get like stuff like super smooth, like super easily. So yeah, like I go for that kind of like, look on like most of the toys. Some of them are like a bit smoother and some of them are like crazy high details. So yeah,
Right.
I can do like pretty much anything I want. So and the only limitation is just like, what I want to do with them.
Right. Now I'm trying to remember. I'm kind of bouncing around here. I apologize. Try not to do that. And but no, What's amazing to me is the detail, and I'm spotting details I didn't see before. Because on the head, you've got the Spider-Man eyes. Sorry. It's just, I keep finding these details and I love it. And yeah, it's wonderful work.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's got to like, remind you of the character as much as possible without like having like Marvel knocking in my like door and just be like, hey, what is this? So like, it needs to be like recognizable. So, but it's not like exactly like the character. Well, I'm trying to like take like either like inspiration of like the design, like the look of like things and like the color schemes, and just like bring that into like my toys and to make them like recognizable, even if it's not just like a straight like one-to-one copy of like something. Like, I will never just like take something like straight from like the page and just be like, bam, it is inspired, it looks like it because of all those like elements that I bring into like the toy.
Yeah. I want to remind everybody that if you do have questions, drop them in the chat. George will be wrangling those for us. And here in a few minutes, we will be getting into those. I did see one from Yosh, and I see that George has gotten some in here for me as well. Yeah. Now, as in my notes here, I've got something here about, do you have a new model coming up?
Maybe.
Oh, okay. Did I jump ahead?
Like, yeah, no, I mean, like, it's like fine. I have like 3D prints to like show if you want to see like some of like the finish as well. I have like the molds that we make and how it started. I don't know. There's like plenty.
Yeah, actually, I'll let you lead. I'll let you lead. Go from here. Where do you want to go?
Okay. All right. So we'll start from like kind of like the very beginning of like Dilgo and like how I started like making like the molds, which was like kind of nuts.
Yeah.
So the very first mold, like I learned everything to like make like silicone like work like in like from the special effect industry, and just like Stan Winston School and that stuff. That's where I like learn everything. So like to me, just making like brush on mold was using like Rebound 25 and then like plaster molds, because I also make like real size Halloween masks, like again using like the 3D printer and like stuff. So it's like a completely kind of like different techniques. And so that's how I started at the beginning. So I was like making, where's the camera? Like Rebound 25 mold on like, super flexible and like thin, but it's like strong as hell.
Yep.
The problem is to make those guys, and because my designs are like so, I cannot mess up like the final shape or anything. Like if it's like slightly bent, like they won't look like what it's supposed to be. So you have to like make like plaster molds that like go around, which
mother molds take,
like forever to like make. And like if like something like goes awry, like you have to redo everything and just like redo like the Rebound one and then redo the plaster one, and it's just like takes forever. And actually I found out that like the Rebound is like prone to like leaving like tiny little bumps and like bubbles like here and there. Like it's really hard to like get something like super clean. So those ones have been retired now. To actually, I teased it like during the April Fools, but I think I like everything else, I overwork everything and overproduced like my April Fool's jokes, so nobody got it. But I use them to make candles now.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So yeah, there's like a wick like in the middle, and like I'm gonna start like making like candles for like like way cheaper and like fun, just using like we reuse my old molds and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yes.
And so now I think I do like what pretty much like everybody is doing like nowadays. Uh, it's like doing like hybrid
Mhm.
like molds that are just like that one is like
Yeah.
3D printed in like filament, and then get like the middle part is just like like a flexible like silicone one.
Yeah.
And yep, just get like a tiny strap to like go around to hold everything in place, and it's like good to go. And I've seen like a bunch of shops as well using like rubber bands. Don't use rubber bands, just buy those guys. So much better.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah. Those get the straps or Velcro or
Yeah, those are like Velcro straps, and it's like it's reusable. It's like easy. You don't have any problems of like cure inhibitions or like anything. It's just be like
yeah, because you don't know what those rubber bands are made of.
Yeah, and I bought some that were like not supposed to be like rubber, so to not have like curing problems.
Yeah.
And no, they still like messed up in the end. So I was like, well,
Yeah, because
thanks,
if they're latex or if they've got any kind of, sometimes they'll have a powder on them, and that powder can, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. So yeah, straps, Velcro, that's the way to go.
Yep.
And so in the prints, again, to just like show like what we have, like so this one was like the colossal one.
Wow.
Put like a really shiny like finish on this one.
Yeah.
But most of like the prints and like the finish that I try to make on my toys are like I like matte finish, because that's what looks more like a vinyl toy. So yeah, I usually like spray like like something just to like make it look matte and not like extremely shiny, because at the end of the day like people still use lube anyway, so it's gonna be shiny. So I might as well like look how I want it to look when not in use.
Yeah.
And the only time when I actually like do something specific, I try to like make like a glossy finish where it matters, and then like a matte finish where like it's not. But like the mold release kind of like eats like pretty much all the like super crazy shininess. So it was like it's there, but not too much.
Yeah, and that's the Eclair, right?
Sorry, yeah, that is the Eclair.
Yeah, I love that one. I have a soft spot for food.
I mean, they're fun, and I try to make foods that like like not the obvious like it's a carrot or like it's like an eggplant or something. Just be like a little bit more fun, like like the banana for scale and that stuff it's funny.
You mentioned Stan Winston and special effects. This is a magazine that I pick up fairly regularly. This is prosthetics. It's from Special Effects Makeup, and geez, that's the Groton Studio. But usually Stan Winston has a full page ad, somewhere in here. But this I don't do special effects makeup, but I love this just because I can steal techniques.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so much to like learn from. Like even if like it's not gonna apply specifically to like dildo making, it's just like to make stuff. Like it's like great like tools.
Yeah, or it's how to apply pigments, or how to get skin tones, or how to get textures and things like that. So
new models. Sorry.
Yes.
Go for it.
Oh, I love the molds. I love seeing the molds.
Cool. Yeah, and like now I was like talking about like the new model because you were asking. So like I was like ready to just like show it off if you guys want to.
Yeah.
So like the way like like I talked about how Dilgo like pretty much like does like one scale for like each toy. It's because I want to have like a lineup, and like every toy in that like category or like parody of like an anime or like a movie or whatever, everything makes sense. So like, for example, like the Kakarot that we released is like over 9 inches tall
Okay.
because it's the big boy is like, it's like the main character. But then I'm not gonna make like a smaller version of that one, but I can make his friend, the prince, which is that one is like, considered as like the medium size of this like lineup. So that's how I go
Yeah.
about it. It's like once you like collect all the Dilgo toys, like you have your like large one and then your medium one and then like the small
Yeah.
one, and it just like makes perfectly sense like when you have them aligned and you just like don't question it. It's just like at the like we're like the really beginning of like everything. So it's like hard to like see what we're going for. But yeah, that's kind of like the idea of like having that mindset of like put them on your shelf, have all the like Dilgos and be like, yes, like that's what
Yeah.
it's supposed to look like. So yeah, this guy is gonna be the new one.
Awesome.
Coming to a shop near you.
And that's in silicone, right?
Yeah.
Wow. It's a gorgeous fade, first off. And then you've got, was what, 5 colors in there? Because you've got your logo in white.
So there's like the fade. The logo is like hand painted. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
And then the pants are painted, and then the hair are pour. So that's how I like go about like this guy.
Gotcha. Yeah. No, it's gorgeous. Wow. Something to look forward to. Do you have a release date?
I'm trying to like build like a healthy stock for it, and then like we'll see. But like, yeah, like I don't know, like pretty soon. But I don't know exactly when. I know like some people are really eager to like get it, and we actually have like something planned with like Lana as well to like make like a video that's gonna break the internet hopefully with that one. So fingers crossed.
Jeez. All right. I'm going to go to, well, actually, do you have anything else?
Well, usually you talk about like flops and like stuff like that. So we almost had like a horrible thing. Like when I talked to you during like the tech, like previous stuff.
Yeah.
After I went back to just like work on like an Incredible Hunk, and I messed up and I poured like part A into part B that was like kind of like ready to like slow drone and everything. So I messed that bucket up and I was like, oh my god, I have like 40 minutes to be able to like salvage this thing. So I just like grabbed like some colors. So that's gonna be our like next drop of those guys that like came out like pretty good when that was almost like a crazy. Wow, like the colors are awful.
Oh, wow. It's still pretty.
But yeah, so I made like a bunch of like swirls like that. It's like kind of like a dreamy cotton candy drop that's like coming like probably like next week.
Okay. So we got a drop coming next week.
Yeah, so they look pretty cool. I managed to like make like 7 like in the 40 minutes like that I had to like work with.
Okay.
So yeah, those guys are like came out like pretty nice. I do have like a flop on that one, and it's like a minor because I forgot to tilt the mold on like the banana, so there's just like a tiny little bubble here. But I mean, it's just like, oh, like to me, like this is not too much of a problem because like such like a clean, just like bubble that's like it's like more like aesthetic than like anything else. But it's like super easy to like clean up, so that should not be like too much of an issue. So, yeah, so pretty colors coming soon.
All right. And that'll be on your Etsy shop, right?
Yeah, we only have like an Etsy shop like right now. I do want like in 2023 to be able to like switch to like our own because like Etsy is pretty terrible sometimes, and we had to like like censor every listings and like stuff, and it was be like, god damn it, like we already put everything in mature and it's already on like the 18 like plus size, like why do you need to put like a big like whatever to like censor everything? It looks like shit now. So
yeah, and what's funny is that the standards change. I've got some stuff that I was going to relist into. Basically, I was going to relist them as separate listings, and I was just going to reuse the same images. And so when you create a new listing, that goes through a new review process, and those same images now no longer satisfy the review process, even though the existing images on existing products did in the past. So my old products, which consistently get renewed, are just fine for some reason. They're fine. They don't have any problems, but I can't use those images for new products.
Yeah, and like the fact that they just like resell stuff, like
available
on Amazon for like 3 times the price, or coming from like really shady places. It's like, it just like kills like the small like artisan guys out there. It's just really So yeah.
All right. What else you got for me?
Oh God, I don't know.
Well, while you're looking, I'll remind everybody that if you've got questions, drop them in the chat. George will wrangle them and get them to me. You can find Dilgo's new stuff that'll be coming out next week at Etsy. It's dilgo.etsy.com. It's easier way to get to it, but there'll be links in the chat as well. And when I get done, I'll make sure there are links in the video description. But I just saw, were those bananas? Were those bananas coming out to...
Yeah, get your potassium.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, I don't know, you can probably like see, but yeah, that's kind of like the difference between like the very first pour that I did of like this guy, of, like the test colors.
Yeah.
And I was not like really happy with it. There's still like, like a fade and like the yellow and like kind of like the idea of having like a little brown in like the tip and like a wash like in the stuff. But then I refined and made like something that looks much more like appealing, I believe.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like there's a lot of like thought process just to like, get the look that I want, and then I like stick to it and just like being able to like replicate for like every toy, and that's like in the designer edition. Like it's like a big part of it. It's just like what you see on the page or whatever is like what you're gonna get, like pretty much. So
yeah, and I mean even the small bananas that were around the base, you have that little bit of green right around the
Yeah, I do like a wash like on them to just like make them like not like fully like ripe.
Yeah. So, yeah. Man, I'm amazed. I mean, the work that you do is just gorgeous. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Well, let's see. You mind if I jump into some questions from the audience?
Maybe.
All right. Well, we'll see what they've got. Knox Fun asking, will they be able to buy candles?
Yes. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah, like that's like something that I want like to bring. Like, I don't know exactly like when and like how I'm gonna do it, because like they take like a lot of time as well. So I'm gonna have to like figure out like the pricing and how to like make them, or if I like do like customs of like like colors and stuff. So I got a feeling there might be like kind of like a limited run, or like when I have like more time, or it's like downtime on like the shop is kind of like slow. You're like, hey, this is like candle month or something. So yeah, they will be coming. I'm not sure exactly when, but yeah, it's something that like I want to do, because there's like a friend of mine who was like, well, you make stuff that are like practical and not just like whatever. So yeah, like candles was kind of like one of the first idea. I'll just be like, it's like fun. You can still see like how much detail is on everything, but probably for like a way cheaper price. So maybe like it's like an entry point of like, oh, I like this design, I'm not like sure about like spending $100 on something, but then I can take like the candle, it's still like a fun like gag gift, and you still see how well done it is. So like, bam.
Yeah, and shipping on those is going to be interesting. If it gets too warm,
I don't know. I mean, you need like a lot to just like either like break them or melt them. So hopefully it'll be okay. Like dry ice shipping.
Oh, the ham stuff. There was a plea for ham products. A door knocker was requested. Wall scrolls as well.
I mean, I do have a laser cutter, and I wanted to like make like Christmas ornaments and like stuff like that with it. But again, it's just one dude, like pretty much making everything. So it's got to like find my battles, because like I cannot sculpt and like pour or like do like some other crazy stuff. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, like down the line, I wanted to like make like figure out to make plushies, because I think I know how to make them. But again, it's gonna take like hours to just like be able to like make some. So
yeah,
it is way too much.
There's so much you can do, right? Let's see. There's a note here. Let's see. I'll have to come back to that. Let's see. Oh, for the cow, how much swearing was involved in the process, and how fast do you have to pour that?
Not that much swearing. Like, I don't know. Like the pour is like, I think it's just like everything that I do is like, you know, a lot of it is like time based. So you just get to like put a movie and like wait and just like keep poking at your silicone to just get that like really specific viscosity that you need, and it's not like cured fully, so you can just like put in, it's gonna cure, and like everybody's gonna be happy, it's not gonna delaminate and stuff. So it's just like a lot of waiting and just like really carefully waiting for like your moment. And living in like Southern California was like a really pain in the ass like last year, because it was so hot that even with some slow joe, sometimes I had batches curing before the end of the vacuuming.
Oh wow.
And that was insane. Like,
yeah, that reminds me, I had it was a few weeks ago. I wasn't paying attention. I was doing a live stream. I wasn't paying attention to time, and I was talking to people on the live stream, and I had some silicone that basically, you know, it was curing as I was, or the pot life ended as I was doing my pour. And you can feel it. The viscosity changes, and you can see the way that it layers as it's pouring. And when it gets too warm, it can really.
Yeah, that's most of the flops that I had, and like all the failures, and like why I couldn't do some designer editions is just because like the heat was like kicking my ass, and I didn't have like proper time to just like do anything that I wanted, or I was just like, why is it not working? Like, I don't know. And then like it cooled down. I'm like, oh, I had it right. It's just like bad luck. So yeah, like I messed up like some batches trying to like make like cool drips and stuff, because it was like curing way too fast. But hopefully we can move again into like cooler place, or have like a fully dedicated like AC, no cats like around like room to just be able to like do everything that I want.
Yeah. I remember I have a thermometer in there, and it was 76, 77 degrees in the room that I was working, which was just enough to mess up my time. So, let's see. Nearly Ghouls. I was curious about if this toy is going to be prone to smearing. And this was about the UFO. When you pour the UFO and beam and you rotate back to level out the bottom, is the silicone going to move around?
It should not. I mean, the base like of the is gonna be like clear, and there's not gonna be like much beside like the swirl like in the middle. So even if that one kind of like moves, like it should still look like pretty okay, I believe. But the difference between like the smearing on like the base and maybe like the shaft here, like I don't think that's gonna be a problem, because like even then, if I have some, I said I was gonna like, you know, wiggle like a little bit to just make it look like the clouds are like being like sucked into like the stuff. So I think like even if that happens, I think it should look pretty good still.
Yeah, and I think also like the one that's going to be at the head, the UFO that's going to be at the head. I think also depending on your timing.
Oh yeah, if he's talking about that, yeah, like no, like that should be like a clear line. I'm just gonna wait for like the right moment and like get it like just enough so it's not gonna like mix together like too much or whatever. So that should be fine. I mean, I have that kind of like technique done with like the invisible wheelie, which is like same thing, like kind of like a cut to like a clear like shaft. So I should be okay. Like the only like crazy thing that could happen is just I wait like a little bit too much, it cures too much, and then you demold and like it just pops and separates. But other than that, like it should be okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Nearly Ghouls was asking about the hard split at the head.
Yeah, but I don't know. It should be fine. Like,
yeah. I think with the right timing, you should be fine.
I mean, it's like, yeah, like everything, like I said, like everything is like done on the right timing. Like, for example, the Jason that I made, where like the actual hilt of the toy is like made of like dragon skin 30, and like the rest is like EcoFlex 50. So, you know, they are like different viscosity. So like, it's like really hard to not have like one like sink to the bottom, but like, yeah, it's just like you have to like figure out like the timing and just like put it like perfectly fine. And like, I mean, it's time to flex on camera, but like, that's not going anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things I played with, which was interesting, was playing with kind of the equivalents would be like a the EcoFlex 0030 with the Dragon Skin 20 and the different viscosities. But the difference is I use Platsil, and so they have very different cure times as well. So I was using Platsil Gel 25 with a what was it? It was a 0020 or 0030. I can't remember which one. Anyway, the Gel 25 has a 5-minute pot life. And so it was really fast. But what was really interesting was with just a little bit of retarder, you could get like a 7 to 10 minute pot life out of it, which was just enough time to get it vacuumed. And if you poured the 0020 and you did like, 3/4 full, and then you poured the Gel 25 on top of that, because of the different viscosities and different densities, the Gel 25 would actually go down through, and you could actually almost get a dual density toy out of it.
Yeah, I had that happen on this guy. Like the first time when I tried to make one, like the dragon skin like sucked like all the way down to the head, and I was like, yeah, like a weird like dual density head like thing, but like what I wanted was still like flimsy. It's like, damn it.
But the problem with it is that you've got to time it just right, and it was hard to. You could get dual density that way, but the timing had to be just right. Somebody wanted to see the Jason again. That is a monster.
It's Friday the 13 inches. Yeah, that one had like a lot of laughs at the con. Like people were just like coming just to like see like the machete dildo and just like beat the crap out of like everybody else with it. Like that was really fun.
Ben had a comment. I absolutely had to send the UFO toy to my friend into ufology, and she's so excited to see it go into production.
Well, thank you.
And Seg saying, I wasn't sure what size the UFO would be in real life. So
yeah, like that one I was kind of like still didn't really knew like how big I wanted it like to be, because like I don't want it to be like a giant toy that like maybe like if only a few people would be able to like use or whatever. So yeah, I was kind of like in between of like trying to like get something like still usable, but like where I could like put the inclusion, it'll still look good. So like that's kind of like what I like came up with, of like, not like a monster, still something like usable, where like even if like the head is like pretty big, it's still like, flared but not like gigantic. So hopefully that will be like fine. But
Yeah.
We shall see.
And now you mentioned you had a laser cutter. Are you going to be able to work that into your production process anyway?
I mean, I wanted to, just like make like stuff like ham and like, like ornaments and like, I don't really know. I just like been lasering stuff for like the house and like, whatever, like stupid thing. But like the plan was to try to be able to like make stuff like in leather or like, I am not sure, but it's there. So hopefully I can like incorporate it into like the process sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually bought my first laser cutter 10 years ago, but I actually had worked with a jeweler, and we had our first laser cutter back in sometime before 2000. So 97, 98, something like that. So, I've been working with lasers for longer than I want to admit, but, so I love lasers. And
I mean, one of my first idea when I got it, it was like, I can cut dino nuggies in chicken tenders. Like, so not sure it's going to be in like anything to do like Dilgo, like whatever, but like there's like some stupid ideas that I want to try with it.
Stupid ideas. This jeweler that I worked for, he was crazy. He literally, but one day he decided he wanted to laser engrave his fingernail, so he did.
And now he's got a stump.
I think I caught up on all the questions. George, let me know if I missed anything. What'd I miss?
There's a couple more down there.
Nox Fun asking, are we getting more food?
Probably, but like there's nothing on my mind like right now. Like I think like like I kind of like need to slow down on like making like new stuff like constantly, and just like being able to like do like more like drops and just like pours and like stuff like, because just like coming up with like new designs just like takes forever, and just like polishing and like making stuff is just like crazy. And I've been doing that like probably like way too much. So like food items, I'm not really sure. I think that for this year, like the prince is coming. I want to have like the UFO like ready like fairly soonish, and then like the next one that I want to work on and I want to have like a release date around like Halloween is gonna be like the mall. Like that's like something I've been like thinking a lot, and that's gonna be like something really different. I think that like anybody has seen like as like a mall design. So that should be pretty crazy and hopefully good. So, but like I don't know if you guys have any ideas, just like throw them.
Well, Yosh had one. They want a really ripe banana.
Really, the brown color like usually it doesn't work super well. It's like borderline.
Yeah, I did see, who was it? Kizu and Friends today did wood. They did, go back through their thread or their feed today on Twitter. They did some wood in silicone, which was really interesting. So,
yeah, I made like a fall design with like a red banana and like stuff like that. But like I'm not. I mean, if you want one, I can do a custom order. But I not sure about like how good it's gonna look like.
Yeah.
Maybe if you like push it to be like a chocolate banana, like like a nice like strong vivid dark brown might look cool, but like the kind of like Pastis Prime banana might not be like the most appetizing toy to play with.
Yeah, I mean it can go very unappetizing very quickly. Nox Fun asking, are you going to do a Pride drop?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I was like trying to like get stuff ready. Actually, like the colors that I made for like this like kind of like salvaging like my stuff are like pride colors, so like I guess that kind of counts. But yeah, like I want to do like one like specifically, but those ones can be included as well. Like if you like the blue and like the pink and like the white, like
because the blue, pink, and white was kind of trans colors.
Yeah, I mean that's what I went for, because like when we were at the sorry, like the FurCon as well, like that's something that like people were like really gravitating towards, to like those kind of like colors, even if I didn't make them like on purpose at first, like it's still like like color combinations. So yeah, they like those ones are not like the exact flags, but they're like the colors, and I think that like they count and they're like really cool looking. So yeah, I would say they're like definitely pride colors.
Yeah, I did see the question from Yosh earlier, but I can't remember exactly how it was worded. I think it was something along the lines of, how does anime figure into any of your inspiration? And is there any anime that might inspire any of your work?
I mean, I'm like a huge nerd, so like obviously like anime is like a big part of like what I like and like what I do. I mean, like obviously like the Dragon Ball like license is like my favorite of all time, so I'm like working on like a full lineup. Attack on Titan is like the next best thing, so I want to like work on like a full lineup of that. So I did like the Colossal one. I think like the Armor Titan is gonna be like next to like go with this one. It's gonna be like a smaller size. But yeah, like I don't know, like it's really something that I like to work with, because I can like do stuff now like a bit more stylized and a bit like more crazy shapes now, like not just like really realistic, and I really like it. So yeah, like there will be more of that, like for sure.
Okay. And another request for Ham products, stickers and such.
Stickers, like I don't know. I mean, like I got like 3,000 stickers of like all of them that we made, because we had to like buy everything in bulk at the beginning. So it's be like, oh, let's go crazy. So I'm not sure I'm gonna make like new stuff before like we can like sell or like give away all those ones. But like seeing how like the Valentine Day ham was like super popular. Like maybe there will be like more like stuff in the future, and just like like timely ones and like stuff for like conventions, and I want to do like stuff like a little bit different too. So maybe not, but like not like in the near future. That's not something that I have like explicitly like planned.
Okay. So what about your family? Does your family know what you do?
Oh yeah, I mean like my
parents
came to visit. No, they hate everything. No, they came and like I told them like what I was doing, and like when they came to visit, like they even left with like a few dildos in their like suitcase and like stuff. So now it's probably like on the chimney, like, or like next to the TV. Because they have like tons of like my work from like sculpting like way back then and stuff. So it's just like a weird evolution of making like super cool like just like nice high-end sculptures, and then you got a cock. So like that's gonna be like conversation starters for like the family comes to visit. But they had a good fun.
Oh, you're gonna have to make some candles for them too.
Oh yeah, I mean, and they smell good, better than something.
And if you do them in the right colors, then you could use them for the holidays.
Yeah, I mean,
make centerpieces out of them for the for Christmas dinner.
I mean, that was like initially when I made like the candles, I had like the Christmas tree like lit up and everything. That was kind of like the first picture that I took with like the chubbies, and like this is like, look, like like if you want to give like a little hint to how your dinner is gonna end up, like just like pull out your like Dilgo candles and you'll see. Maybe you have like a nice night.
So what about your most epic fail? Tell me about your most epic fail.
Like in dildo making? Or...
Yeah. I mean,
I messed up like a bunch of Hulk, and of hunk, and you know how big that one is. Like
Oh yeah.
about like 6 pounds.
Oh my.
And yeah, like when I try to like do like the designer edition, I have to like time stuff specifically and have like to like like put stuff like in the right like angle and whatnot. And yeah, I had like a couple of flops like that where I'm just like it felt like mid like pour and just be like shit all over the place, and like the green is like smearing like the pants and like whatever. So I'm down the whole of like 50 or 60 bucks. So it's like, here you go.
Oh man, that hurts.
Yes, it does. I don't want to talk about it anymore. Thank you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to bring up the pain. What about me? Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, sure. So
Oh no, he's got a list.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interview, so like.
I know.
Okay, yeah. Last week I shared like the kind of like my favorite tools that I like to work with, and I feel like I would never go without it, and like all the like metal like whatever spatulas and like not like what is your like go-to like I can't live with like tool to like make dildos.
I love my cuticle trimmer.
So I tried that and I could not make it work.
Yeah. I actually have a few of them, and I have one in particular that works really well. And I don't know why it may just be the angle of it. It may just be how sharp it is. But it's the one that works the best for me. The other one is a crock pot.
Yeah.
I have a crock pot underneath. So I have it's a stand that has a laptop on it that has my streaming set up, and also has a spreadsheet, which has all my calculations on it. And then underneath is a crock pot. And so whenever I have something that comes out of a mold, I drop it into the crock pot on low, which it kind of finishes off the cure. And I'm not going to say it sterilizes anything, but it kind of finishes off the cure for me, and I don't have to wait for everything to do the full 24 hours to finish out the cure or anything. But it sits at 130, 140 degrees. So, it's going to kill just about anything that might be on there, even though, everything is already clean and I wash everything in alcohol before it goes out. But yeah. Cuticle trimmer and crock pot. Those are
that's cool. Yeah, like the cuticle trimmer, I saw it like going around. I even bought some, and I was like, I cannot do anything with those guys. So I just have like mustache like whatever. But I actually like longer scissors to do that, because like you have like a better reach and less like like little cut. It's just like a long one. So that's what I like. Another question. What do you think we should do next?
We, as in Dilgo, or as an industry?
Yes.
As Dilgo.
Both. Here you go.
As Dilgo, see, I'm... This is... First thing that comes to mind is a ham grinder.
That poor little boy.
I know.
I mean, I'm not sure I want to do that, because like literally the very first ham that we sold, which is a desk toy, like just like squishy little desk toy and whatever, the first review that we had was a 5-star, but it was like they put it up there. I'm like, this is not a Kegel egg. Like, we do Kegel banana for scales, like Kegel eggs, banana eggs, and ham was not supposed to like do that. I was like, just like afraid, because like the shape and everything is not meant to like, like get in there, and like I didn't know how like easy it would be like to come out
Yeah.
and stuff. So it's be like starting like panicking. It's like, oh my god, if people are doing that with Ham, like what are they gonna do with like the rest of our toys? Like,
Yeah. But also, I saw your sharks, the sharks that you did. I think the sharks could be an interesting grinder as well.
yeah, I mean like food wise. So yeah, like to go back into like the question about like food, like like yeah, like the first grinder that I wanted to make was like a banana split. So that could be like something like that, because like I think that yeah, having like that kind of the design and having like, you know, like the ice creams like in like one place and then like the banana in the middle would be really easy to make like really define like again like colors and like features, and then like easily swappable to have like, you know, like different like swirls and like whatnot like on top of it. So yeah, like if there's like a probably like a next food item would be like a grinder, because I wanted to like make one, but I don't know if I'm gonna have time. But yeah, that's probably gonna be it.
Yeah. But as an industry, you know, the guys over at Freely, and I've got them booked. I have to look and see which date I've got them booked for. But they're doing something really interesting where they've got a 3D modeling. I don't know how to describe it. Basically, you can do a 3D model on their website, and they will 3D print it and create your design from your 3D model. So every single thing, I mean, you can create anything you want, and they'll 3D print it for you and create it. And it's one-off, exactly as you want it, in the materials and colors and everything that you want. Which is really interesting to me from an industry standpoint, is just how custom can you go?
Yeah, and I mean like I'm not sure that people know, you know, what they should do or not, like, you know. So I'm not like sure it's like the best idea of like letting too much control into like the public, because like they're gonna do something, it's gonna suck, it's not gonna be their fault. I mean, like to like the shop fault, but they're still gonna get like bad reviews, like, oh, that stuff is like way too intense. Like, I don't know, like maybe not. But yeah, it's like interesting to like be able to do that, but it's like that sounds like a lot of work.
Oh, I know. Like I said, I've got them booked for a date coming up, and I'll, you know, we'll do the announcements, but it's a really interesting idea, and I really want to dive into it with them, because I've got some of the same concerns that you've gotten. Not that we should be gatekeepers, but, you know, there are certain things that we know about in terms of, you know, why we design things the way that we do.
I mean, I would totally be a gatekeeper, because like that's part of like, you know, design stuff that like, you know, you're like proud of. And if you leave people to like make like anything that they want, that's why in games like we have like crazy horrible skins of like everything is like weird colors and like don't make any sense, like a little bit of art direction sometimes. It's like that's the way to go, like please.
Yeah It's I get it.
I mean, that's like from like, you know, my designer like, you know, like spirits and like artist of like trying to like get something the best out there, like.
Well, and that's something that I touched on at the very, very beginning of our conversation or this episode, was that you have a very strong vision, and, you know, you come to this with an intent, and you want things to be a very certain way. And you've kind of made that clear, especially when you say, you know, I want this toy to is only available in one size. And, you know, everything is built a certain way because it is as you intend it to be.
Yeah, so it might like bite me in the ass a little bit, and like, you know, not be able to like sell like more products, but like, I don't know, it's just like a long grind of like, you know, trying to like get people to like get what we're doing, and then like, you know, if they're not like happy with like, you know, like a size or whatever, just wait a little longer, like you be a little bit more patient, and then something's gonna come up into like your specific like size and stuff. Because yeah, just like doing it that way, I can like make like much more design and have like much more fun than having to like spend like 4 times as much time on doing like different sizes and having to like polish everything and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would not be sustainable just for me to like be able to have that many design, release that many stuff all the time in that many like sizes. So it's like, yeah, it's a choice.
Yeah. Well, did you have anything else for me?
Let me see. What exercise do you do to get that sexy radio voice?
It's a lot of post-processing.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, it's there's Voicemeeter that I use, and then OBS has its own filters, and yeah, I use a lot of post-processing.
All right. Well, no, that was like pretty much it. I'm like, I hope I'm gonna sound as good. Like,
yeah, I do actually do a little post-processing on you guys, on your voices as well. So hopefully it sounds pretty good on the audience side. Let's see. I was told that there was one last question. Yeah, this will be a good question to end on. And then we will wrap it up, and I will let you end your evening. What are some of your goals for 2023, Dilgo or personal?
So for Dilgo, I would like to get on like on the website and kind of like get away from like Etsy, and like having like being able to like have like more reach like overall, and like try to work more with like SW workers and like try to like plan like more conventions and just like get our work out there and just try to expand beyond like our like little niche of like industries, like like the novelty toys, and just like like see what I can do to like help like other people like with like the skills that I have with like 3D printing, 3D scannings and sculpting, and like because like I mentioned, like everything is done in house, like the videos and like stuff. So I think there's like a lot to like I could like bring and reach out, even if it's not on like the Dilgo brand. Like it's hard to explain. It's just like try to be able to like expand like what Dilgo does to like the SW workers, even if it's not sold as like Dilgo brand. That's what I mean.
What about personally? Do you have any personal goals for?
Probably just try to chill out a little and like go travel like a little bit again. Yeah, it's been like a crazy years of just like trying to like set up a shop and like get everything ready and like try to make it look like it's not just made by like one guy. So that was like it was just like a lot of work and just like a lot of stress. So like hopefully like I mean good thing like Miss Dilgo was there to just like keep my sanity in check, but that was like a lot. So maybe chill out a little bit and try to like focus like more on like myself, and like I think I nailed like nowadays like the most of like the designer edition, so I want to like actually work more on those ones. So maybe a little bit less like random pours and like trying to like chase like whatever is like trendy at the moment and just like make what makes Dilgo special.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to spend with me this evening.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully everybody in the chat had fun too.
I think they did. I mean, we just got a message. We had over 100 messages in the chat, so that is awesome.
We need more.
Well, why don't you say goodnight to everybody and then hang out for a minute, and you and I'll chat after the show, and I'll wrap up.
All right, well, good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Twitter, probably.
All right. Thanks, Max. I'll be with you in just a minute. All right. Max from Dilgo. So much fun. Yeah. Definitely check out all of the things. There will be links in the video description, and you'll be able to get that and click on those. There are links in the Twitters as well. So, yeah. Max, I do appreciate it and love all of the work that you have done. And I really look forward to seeing all that you've got coming in the future. Next week, it looks like we've got Nerd On Novelties coming up next weekend. So next Sunday, 7 o'clock, we'll see you at 7 o'clock Central Time. So, yeah. All right. With that, I am out, and we'll do this again. Bye.